whenever we see a problem, we start assuming, the root cause to be something that we are familiar with, and it's only data at this point that can actually give us the correct picture, or else we'll always, continue in this wrong, maybe not the correct direction, that will end up consuming a lot of time and effort, but will not be able to solve the problem. Right now, I'm into digital and PR and communications, but I started back as a computer science engineer here in Pune. But I was into BFSI, and for about 2.5 years, I was all into coding and development. And then, I moved to marketing. And again, like in the last 6 7 years, I have been into, different divisions of marketing, like starting from account planning to media planning, to content, to uh, you know uh, performance marketing and social media. And now, I'm like seeing all of it together. uh, so yes, I have moved, you know I've worked with some of the biggest agencies in the country, and with some of the biggest brands. At least I can say that for BFSI. And yeah, so that's how my journey has been. I have picked up a little from here, picked up a little from there, and then I'm trying to have it all put together. Because I started with you know digital performance marketing. So I have always, you know uh, been familiar, or I have always got this exposure to data, at least, if not for all, at least for the Google campaigns or the Facebook campaigns. But then it was very superficial, I would say. Like, we know that we have certain KPIs, and then we have to track the data for certain things only. But as an on, I went on. I always had this in mind that data is mostly used for digital campaigns, and for other ATL, or let's say a TV campaign, or even PR, data might not be that important, because we look at only a certain things. Maybe for a TV campaign, a GRP works, or just the reach and circulation for a print ad. But then there were certain instances, which made me realize that data is actually helpful in almost any kind of campaign and in any kind of situation. I would actually like to share one, incident which happened.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we were running a campaign for this, big BFSI client, and it was a TV campaign. I mean, it's a all media campaign, but major was TV because that was the most expensive bit. Uh, we were looking at certain GRPs nationally, and then we also had these, KPIs for achieving certain GRPs in every region.
Mm-hmm.
And then we realized that we are getting the GRPs nationally, we are getting the GRPs in all the regions except for Bihar.
Oh, wow.
And we were running only prime time ads. So initially we were confused about what's going wrong. We started talking to the channel representatives and asking if the ads are running fine, if there is any problem, if something has happened with the show, and things like that. And for a few days we had no clue what was happening, because it was all prime time ads everywhere, it's performing. And that's when we started, diving deep into data. We started looking at, ad specific data. We started looking at uh, time specific data, and then we realized that the way the entire country functions in terms of a prime time, Bihar doesn't function that way. Like, well, the GRPs will go up between 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. for the entire country. Bihar GRPs will actually go up in the afternoon. And this is something we realized, and then we made changes to the campaign, and then we were able to achieve the required GRPs in Bihar as well. So this is something, it was strange, because I believed something else. And And only after looking at data and going through all these Excel sheets, we realize that the trend is little different. So we always get and this is my personal experience with myself and also with the team. I've seen that whenever we see a problem, we start assuming the root cause to be something that we are familiar with, and it's only data at this point that can actually give us the correct picture, or else we'll always continue in this wrong or maybe not wrong, but maybe not the correct direction, that will end up consuming a lot of time and effort, but will not be able to solve the problem. So it's very it's a good idea, or probably the best idea, to start looking at data from the beginning itself. So that has actually started uh, making me look at data for every campaign, every activity we do, be it a simple mailer. We start looking at all the uh, you know all the data points in the funnel, be it even for the PR activities that we do. And it's very interesting that when we look at data, especially in terms of uh, competitor data, that gives us a lot of idea, not just about what to talk about how we are performing, and it also gives us a lot of idea about what should be the next thing that we speak about. We have been trying to so majorly when we do PR, we try to focus on either quotes, or we try to focus on industry stories, or maybe some authored article which actually talks about the different offerings or the USPs, or how we are compliant with the regulators and things like that. And uh, and this we had been doing for some time. When we started looking at, and like I told, the competitor data, that is also very important. We got idea about what are the other topics people are covering. We had seen that at least post March there had been a decline in in terms of the number of applications we have been receiving, or in terms of the number of leads we have been receiving, to be more precise. uh, Again, the conversion rates have also gone down in the last few months. uh, we realized that one of the problems could be, and this is again by looking at data from what people have been posting on our social accounts, what people have been putting on reviews, and again what the competitor was doing, all the kind of content that they have been posting. We got a sense that somewhere uh, there is this distrust that has started building up with certain cases that have come up, especially about the Chinese lending apps and the fraudulent loan, all the practices of collection, which will not appreciate. So we started developing, using this insight to start developing content against the fraudulent loans. And we created a nice campaign on PR. We had um, a few articles written, post, and those articles were carried by some of the publications. We also started reaching out to some of the influencers, who would create, micro influencers who would create content, and talking about how you can avoid getting into this trap, because we are also members of FACE. FACE is this association for fintech association for consumer empowerment. So we were in touch with them, and they also gave us pointers about how someone should avoid getting into this trap, what are the steps someone should check if the lender is correct or not, and about the guidelines that RBI is laying out. We took this all, we created content that went in articles, and that went on influencer marketing as well. And we got amazing results out of that. Not just that, we started seeing people approaching. Now when we were seeing a lot of people, talking about uh, the distrust in loans on our social media channels, we started seeing people asking if we offer education loans, if we offer other sorts of loans on social media, on our Instagram posts, and that was really interesting. And somewhere, because I believe that it added value, uh, first uh, I think there is this exchange for media awards which is happening today, I think, as we speak. We have been nominated as one of the finalists in that for this campaign. So I think, yeah, it did add value directly to the customers, and I think people did see value in the campaign. In fact, this IBS Mumbai, they have a marketing club. Uh, they took it as a mini caselet, and they had put it as a story on their social media channels on these these campaigns. And so it was really nice to see that these small efforts which actually is making impact. So had we done something based on what we think, what we assume, it might not have had this impact, but only because we tried to see where uh, where something is needed, where what kind of communication is actually the need of the hour, and we tried creating something. I think that was a perfect match, and that's the reason why things turned out the way they are. So I think, yes, somewhere it's very important. I mean, uh, believe me or not, maybe a year back, I never believed that PR would actually need to look into any kind of data. It's all about what press releases we are rolling out, or anything that we just want to communicate. It was, uh, in fact, I had never thought that we can actually use data to create more effective communication. One thing, like I told, the most important for us right now, at least that we have learned, is competitor analysis. And the first thing is, we look at, we have our direct set of competitors, and we have our indirect set of competitors. With the direct set of competitors, we try to look at the share of voice, and every day we track that, how many articles people are publishing, how many articles we have published, how many mentions we have got, and you know what are the topics we are covering. And again, we also keep a track of which all cat A publications we have touched, and this gives us a plan for the month. We have a certain target that we need to be present in this publications by the end of the month, because they have a cumulative reach of such and such number. So if we want to reach out to this many people, then we have to keep a track of where we are getting published. So this is the first thing we do. This is done on a daily basis, and then we have a weekly review on that, so that we can plan the next weeks accordingly. So for PR, yeah, I think these are the two most important things: the competitor analysis and the share of voice. And yeah, similarly, for all the campaigns, of course, when I talk about a performance campaign, there are a lot of things that we look at, starting from the impression share to end last mile conversion. And throughout the funnel, we look at where we are seeing the drops, and that's very important, because again, at times what happens, the marketing and technology in any organization, and this is what I have seen in at least the organizations I have worked for, or the friends I know, and this is pretty much common in almost all the organizations. Marketing and tech, they have their own set of work, and they are pretty much involved. They do collaborate, they do talk to each other, but then there is always a gap. So what happens if there is some issue in in some place of the journey? Marketing is running the campaigns to fill the top of the funnel, but there is a small glitch somewhere or some bug somewhere in the journey, and the funnel is not filling out, then it's very important that there has to be a real time, someone is monitoring it real time. We found it really important when, because we have put this you know tracker funnels on GA4 that we have started using recently. uh, Once there is a similar problem, and before the tech team could actually flag this, our performance team was able to flag this, that at a certain point I'm not seeing any conversion in the funnel. There is a complete dropout. So this is again where we were able to flag it and immediately it was resolved. So yes, for performance there are a lot of data points we look at, and similarly for when we are into branding campaigns, again we try to tie it back to performance. We look at the reach, we look at the CTRs, uh, but then most important, we see what kind of communication is getting better engagement. For PR, we have been using VisiKey, and especially the news score. That's really helpful for us. We have started putting that up in the monthly performance reports that we show, because I think that's a very holistic thing. And then we try to use a similar thing of our own to create a social score for the social media activities that we are doing.
Oh.
A single common score that looks at all engagement and impressions and clicks and everything put together. uh, yes, mostly we use a lot of we used to see a lot of Google Analytics. Now we are shifting to GA4. And for the mobile marketing, uh, we use branch as our MMP. uh, but then we are seeing that although GA4 is little, there is a little lag in, there is a we don't get real time numbers there, but then it's really helpful because we are able to see web and app everything together in one place. And even our ad campaigns are linked to it, everything in one place. So that's also really helpful for us right now. So I think the biggest thing is, bringing the trust back. I think people read a lot of stories, people do consume a lot of news, people, and especially post COVID, or starting from the times of COVID, the consumption of content has increased multifold. So when there is this doubt, I think with good positive PR stories, that's going to create a big impact in reviving the economy, in reviving the the spending behavior, in reviving uh, in bringing things back to normal. I think one gap which I personally feel, especially comms and branding, they're seen together. They try, for any brand, these are used to create, the brand trust and create this perception. And performance is seen separately to bring business and conversions. If these two can, directly be correlated, right now, it's more of a cause and effect thing. But if there is a direct correlation, if there is a direct effect that I can see rather than assuming, then I think that would solve a big problem, this big gap. So a lot of things I have gone through, I have seen, and then when I have been building up teams, I have seen, people who join my team. When we come out of the college, we have gone through a lot of case studies. We are very, textbook in our approach. And because most of us have come from these cities, maybe, Mumbai or Delhi or Ahmedabad or Bangalore, we start thinking things in that way. Like we start taking that as the natural setting. It's very important to understand the consumer first. Now there would be some brands who are very tier one city, serving tier one cities only. this works fine. But then when there is a brand which has a more national presence, it will have a bigger number of volume, or the bigger volume of the customers will not be from tier 1. They will be from tier 2, tier 3, or even the rural population. And the way they take a decision, the way they take a call about purchasing something or going ahead with a service is very different from the way someone from Mumbai, Delhi, or Bangalore would do. So it's very important that someone who's just entering marketing, and especially digital marketing or even PR, to understand what the consumer wants, because the communication has to be consumer driven. Then the consumer will be able to relate. Otherwise, there are a lot of campaigns, lot of activities we would do, but then they would just be there, they'd not make that impact. So I think it's very important to spend time and look at who the exact consumer is, or who your exact customer is, and start thinking from their perspective.